Hey, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Toyota Tuda. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's me, the Artisan MC, with the CArtisan MC stream on Tuesday. Like, share, subscribe, support the if you feel so inclined. So I just wanted to share something with y'all for today. And I wanted to be witty, and I wanted to be heartfelt and poignant. But I'll think of it like this. And I'll give it to you like this, put it that way. Not too long ago, I was going to the same place I am now, out in Fairfield. And I was there. I had my girlfriend, Amanda, at the time, and I was visiting with her family because it's kind of open like that. She wanted to come out. And I really liked her. Got out of another relationship with her parent, Latoya, and I was into another relationship with Amanda. And her parents were cool enough because about my late teens, and I spent the night out there with Amanda. Might have been the night. I don't think it was the first night we had sex, but I think it was one of those nights that we did. And Amanda was tall, brunette, feisty, but didn't believe you loved her if you didn't fight with her. I didn't want to fight with her. That's how I got down. But anyway, I got, a call that I needed to come back home because the ex had went to the hospital. I didn't drive at that time, but I had Amanda get up and she had a car. Drove me back down to Richmond, and I linked up with my mother to go out to Oakland, Oak Knoll Naval Hospital, which I believe is closed now. And the trip from Fairfield to Richmond is about 30 minutes. Right? So I made that trip plus another 15 minutes to get to Oakland. And sure enough, I made it there to meet up with my ex's mother, who had recently been pushed out of the room because my ex at the time had to have an emergency C-section because the baby's heartbeat had dropped. So they pushed the mother out the room, nurse or not, they got her out of the room and did the emergency C-section on the X. And I stood there with my mother and my ex's mother waiting. Not long after that, I don't remember the exact time frame, but nurse came out of the room and put this little thing down into a tray in the opposite room with windows. So I can see it in there. It was a child. It's my child. And the nurse asked me if I wanted to give him a bath. And I was like, hell yeah. Now, I didn't say it with the same gusto I just said it just now because I was a little bit apprehensive of what to expect, right? I had been around newborns before, older shot of a single mother who has female friends. It happens, okay? But this was different. This was my child, freshly pulled from the womb. I went in there. Well, before I went there, I looked at it, and I was just shaking my head. Like, not my child, right? Because there were some reasons behind why she was my ex, and there was some disputes about paternity and shit like that. Looked at him like, that's not my child. My mother told me, and I remember this vividly. She told me, "Shut up, fool. They all come out looking like that." And I told her, "You better get a lot darker. Better get a lot darker." But needless to say, for that, what up, Ilongo, Aria, Therapy? I went to the room. They gave me the little gown and stuff like that. Put me on. They took me in there to this room, just me and this child on this little tray with this little um, bucket. It wasn't a bucket, okay, but it was like a little pan with warm water in it. And I put the baby into the water and started washing that chalky white shit off of it. And that was the first time I met my son, Darian. 30 years ago today. Not exactly at this time, but he was born in the evening. But 30 years ago today, I met my son for the first time. And I remember feeling a sense of awe and just kind of like joy, right? I'm holding this little thing in my hand. I have big hands. This is before I got into construction, right? I'm still working at the community center. I'm still a recreation leader. I'm still working with kids, right? What up, Herb? Happy birthday to Joe Herb, y'all. It's Herb's birthday today. Happy birthday, Herb. But I'm holding this little person in my hand and realizing this is my child. That this is the person that will look to me to teach it about this life. This life that I might not be liking all the time right now. Because make no mistake about it, I was 19. I was 19 years old. this was my first paying job that I had. I was given responsibility and keys and shit like that. Yeah, he's 30 today, Herb. He is 30 today. So I sat there, or excuse me, I stood there and watched that baby, thinking about all of that stuff, like how much I didn't know, how much I didn't know, and what I wanted to teach him. Because make no mistake about it, me and his mother, me and my ex, wasn't on the good terms all the time. Obviously not if I had a whole nother girlfriend, right? So I wasn't there for all the kicks in the stomach and stuff like that, and the bonding and the baby belly rubbing and shit like that. I wasn't there for all of that. I was in my house with my parents. She was in her house with her parents. Right? This is why kids shouldn't be having that shit. It's also why I don't approve of teenage parents fucking up the natural process. But I watched that baby, and I can just remember sense of joy, sense of pride, and I just fell in love with that child right there. Holding that child, I fell in love with him. I did. And I knew what would be required of me if anything happened to this child. That I would actually have to murder somebody about this kid. I knew that proof positive, absolutely. Because even though newborns can't really see at that point once they come out, right? The eyes don't really focus. He was looking at me, and I was looking at him, right in his little black alien eyes, and really making the connection. Hey, son. Hey, I'm your dad. And I'm really impressed that you have such a big penis. I can't help it. I can't help it. It was true. He was a boy. I said, Dad, this little motherfucker got a long little dick. He got that Korean special. So, my son was born, and he was the only boy out of I think it was 5 or 7 girls that were born that night. He was like 9 pounds or something. He was a big little boy. But standing there watching him, I remember just falling in love with him. Falling in love with him right now. And it was only through growing up and raising that child, seeing that, little baby that I held in my hands and watched first, colored face in this world that he saw. Watching him roll around on my bed and sleep and feeding him, changing diapers and shit like that, that I really did fall in love with him. I understood what pure adulterated love was. Because he didn't do shit for me. He didn't do a goddamn thing for me. There was no affirmation. There was no buying gifts. There was no cupcakes, cookies, and cakes and shit like that. It wasn't none of that shit. He was just here, and he just looked at me, and I loved him because he was mine. He was my seed. Yeah, BGS. New soul, brother, too buku. Yeah, he was like, boy, you got a promising future. You got a promising future. I can't help it. I'm a father, man. I was like, damn, that nigga got a long little dick. Holy shit. Like, some girl very happy. Surprise, surprise. But over those years from that moment, I have only loved my son more. I only have. And I don't feel weird saying it. I feel like I have to specify it or qualify it with people to understand this is what, you know, yeah, he's my son. I'm his father. I love him, but this ain't no I kiss him on the mouth shit, nothing like that. No. This is something I did. Whether how irresponsible it might have been at the time, you know, having sex in a restroom and stuff like that, just trying to be horny and trying to get it in. None of that shit actually mattered at that moment. None of that shit mattered at the years afterwards. It mattered in court, but it didn't matter to me. What mattered to me is that whatever I did with that boy, my son, I tried to do better than my father did with me, or could have done with me. And I'm serious. I vowed I would never leave that boy's up. Never. Absolutely never. Fuck anybody else that stood in front of me. I would never leave him. And I didn't give a shit what he did. I didn't. I knew this. There are certain things I know for a certainty that I have promised myself, promised to God I would never do. And one of them is I would never leave that boy. Never. And everything I did over the last 30 years, I have actually tried to do to make sure that me and him have a strong relationship. A very strong relationship. The kind of shit that I would have wanted for myself. And I don't say this to disparage my father. It's not anything disparaging of my father because I know my father and I know my mother. That's a fucking tough situation to be dealing with because both of them are stubborn. They both are stubborn. My mother got me. My father got alienated. So, look, I tried to do better than what was done for me with him. Now, me and his mother could not make it work as a relationship, but I already understood what I needed to do because I had a single mother. I got to earn. Got to earn. I got to earn and take care of this child and provide for this child. And that's when I got into construction. That was the whole reason I got into construction. Outside of having a natural aptitude for doing that shit, and I always liked doing it, this was a way to provide for my child and provide well for my child to the point where I could buy my own house by 35 or 30 if I just got at it. That I had to leave behind, all the little kids at the community center because that job wasn't paying me enough and it wasn't about to. That I needed to make a move and put myself in a better position to provide for my child, my son, my ace, as I call him. And I have not regretted any of that. I have regretted the situation and how it shakes out with court and arguments between me and his mother, but I have never regretted him. Not at all. This is the first person, maybe the second, but it's the first person in this world that I really loved unconditionally. There was no condition on how I love that boy. None. And as a Scorpio, I am fiercely loyal to those I love. So when I woke up today, 5 something in the morning, that was my first thought. And it wasn't like I wasn't thinking about it yesterday. So I reached out to him yesterday. I called his ass on Instagram and reached out to him. And he was having the 30 angst. Oh, it's just another day. There's some BS. Yeah, I took the day off and stuff like that. And I'm just pleasantly tickled, but also a little bit, concerned for my boy, making sure he's okay. Right? It's like, no, it's not necessarily another day. This is the angst of having a birthday that happens later in the year when the weather gets miserable. But it is what it is. I mean, you can definitely say you was born out of some love or lust because November's babies are made in February, Valentine's Day. November's babies are made around Valentine's Day. So you was either the main piece or a side piece. Either way, nigga, there was some love or lust going on to be made to make you. It was. So I think about today, and I think about everything, all the experiences I can remember having with my son, seeing him smile, seeing him crawl, learn how to walk, his big ass head flipping off my bed, sucking his thumb and his big brown eyes. How he look when he's sick, you know, how he look when he's sick. First time I heard him speak and say, "I love you, Daddy." Um, Having him tell me some shit I didn't want to hear, that he thought I was being unfair, and not smacking the shit out of him, but like, okay, that's how you find your voice. That's how you find your voice and know your mind. It's okay. Say what you got to say. Seeing him perform and do martial arts demonstrations and like, God damn, them big ass, he can pick up them big ass feet. Thank God. And like playing magic with him, listening to him make jokes. And one of the things that makes my heart warm when I see it is seeing him with his friends and seeing his friends really love and appreciate him and how caring and considerate he is with the people in his life and how it seems like they appreciate him. It really makes me happy in the sense that I've done something right in this world. That through whatever difficulty I went through, whatever sacrifices that I went through, that this kid came out. He wasn't fucked up. He wasn't fucked up. And that he got better than me. It wasn't, I tried to do the best I could for him. Me and his mother both did. And Black Bane as well, Sam. We did what we could. But he is an awesome dude. He is a fucking awesome dude. I'm so happy and blessed that I got to see that. Because there is nothing other than my daughter that I love in this world more. There isn't. And because of that, because of having that blessing of having him, that's why I can never really, I can never really hate his mom. Yeah. I can hate the situation. I can hate the circumstances. Can't really help hate her because at the very least, she gave me a healthy child and helped raise that boy. And he's an awesome person. because of us, not in spite of us. Now, I read my Malika's comment. I say you're awesome, a good father, a good friend, and a good man. I have my days. I've never been really comfortable with the good father thing because every time I hear that, I think about everything else I couldn't do for the boy. Every time that I might have disappointed him or let him down or couldn't provide what I needed to. One second. Hi, hold it. How you doing? All right, how are you? I'm talking to you. All the times that I was broke as shit, couldn't pull it together, regardless of being unemployed or getting raped over child support or whatever. All I think about is the times that I couldn't do, which we talk about this in this space a lot. You're always judged by what you don't do, not what you could. It doesn't matter to say, hey, yeah, I paid for him to go overseas and sail around the Mediterranean with his grandmother or go to Mexico with his grandmother and I didn't go. Doesn't matter that I did that. What matters is I wasn't there or I didn't do this thing or I didn't have this money for this Christmas. So I appreciate the sentiment. I do. I understand it. I do believe I did a good part, but it was something I was never comfortable with. It was something I was never comfortable with. Because for me, in my mind, a good father hits all those marks all the time. Just the way I am. But your children are in some ways a testament of what you have done as a father. My daughter calls me about something relating to construction. She knows how to do this. She using drills and measuring stuff and just wanting to know what I think if it's right or whatever. I'm happy. That's my daughter. That means I did teach her something, and she did pick it up, and she does look to me for those answers on some of those things. For my son, when I see him with his family, because make no mistake about it, he has a family. He didn't go knock up some chick and then, you know, start willy nilly and throwing his dick around everywhere else too. He made a family. He has a family. They ain't married, but they're a different generation to me, so it doesn't necessarily matter. But they are together. They have a home together. There is love in that house together, and they are raising their child together, their children together. I can't be mad about that. I cannot be mad about that because for me it means he listened to me. And when I see his family, when I'm around his family, there is love. There is legit love. And he loves his baby girl the same way I love him. And that makes it all the more heartwarming to see. I will never forget. Last time this little fucker made me cry. Um, I'm working at the Cheapo Depot 5 years ago. And I get a call from my son, and he wants to talk to me when I get off work. I'm like, okay, what is this shit about? Damn it, why do you park in my fucking parking spot? Stupid bastard. Just white motherfuckers, dude. Can't stand these motherfuckers. Bust this goddamn window. All these fucking spots. You park in the one you know I park in. Stupid bastard. Anyway, I'm wondering what's up, and I already think I have an idea of what it is on the menu that he wants to talk about. So I call him when I get off work, and I'm driving over the San Rafael Bridge, and he tells me that his girlfriend is pregnant, and he's going to have a baby. And I'm shocked, but I understood what was going to happen, right? I wanted him to wait a little bit longer. Apparently, this was the time for him. And he told me, he didn't tell me, he asked me for help. He asked me for help. That he believed that if I was there helping him, he would do as good a job with her, his child, as I did with him. I held it together until I got off that call with him. I did congratulate him. I told him I was proud of him, and I was honored that he would ask that of me, and I will do what I can. Right? Absolutely. Didn't even have to say. And I told him I would keep my foot in his ass to make sure he didn't treat that child badly. And I hung up that phone and I cried driving across the bridge in traffic, thinking about my child, my son, is having a child. He's going to be a father. And it was like, I used to run track when I was younger. I ran track, right? 100 meters in the 440, right? So I ran the relay. I was the anchor man on the relay race. And having that phone call with my son, that's what it felt like. It felt like running that anchor leg and handing off that baton to him so he could take it and run. No, not run an anchor, but you know what I meant. And I was so proud of him. I'm so proud of the man that I've seen him grow into. When I'm around him, when we talk and stuff like that, I'm proud to see how he behaves, how he comports himself, how he fathers to his children. And it's amazing to me. It's like the best science project I was a part of, getting to see the results. And for all intents and purposes, he is an awesome father. He is an awesome father. That little girl, I have never seen a picture of that little girl not happy, not smiling, not laughing, not playing with her daddy. Nothing. He always there with her. Always. And that makes it seem like to me that I did break the cycle. But what I tried to do with him broke the cycle. And it broke it in a way that is positive. Because he is there with his child. And barring any ridiculousness, his child will actually be good for their children as well. So, I want to share that little story with you guys about my son on this day, that it is his birthday. And he doesn't watch my show, so he'll never see this shit anyway. He'll never see this shit anyway. But I plan on surprising his ass tonight. That I'm gonna show up to the house, and if I gotta jump in the bed with his ass and smother him or something like that, I'm doing it because I love the hell out of him. And for a introverted, depressed kid when I was little and a teenager, to have the two children that I have, these two make me love living, love being here in this world, even when it's fucking shitty. And he was the one who started that shit. I've grown up as much from him as he has grown up in front of me. I am not the man I am today without him being here. He made me grow up a lot, and I'm grateful to that. Same way my daughter made me grow up a lot and understand a lot more about women. It's a completely different situation between going from trying to get in their pants to I have to raise one that has pants somebody else is going to try to get into. Completely different situation. You approach things a lot differently. And it's the same way with a man. Raising someone to be a man that you would respect and not just be that next goofy ass, ignorant running buddy that you had. It's not what my son is. So, he's 30 today. And like I told him in my message yesterday, you are a full-on adult. You're not a young adult anymore. You're a full-on adult. And you're doing it. Think about where you were at 21 and where you are now. They're looking at a new place. Him and his girl, their family. The stuff that he's thinking about right now, that he's thinking like, oh, this is just another day, some regular bullshit. You wouldn't even conceive of that stuff at 21. You wouldn't even see yourself in this position at 21. But here you are. That says a lot more than it's just another day. It's not just another day. It's the first day of the next phase of his life, which is that adulthood, like full-on fucking adulthood. The child fuck up years are behind you. So I didn't tell him he ain't got nothing more to look forward to now except the finger up the butt and premature ejaculations. But I have my fun with him when I can have my fun with him. I need to remember to tell him that. I need to go and get that little reach around. Remember that conversation we had when you were laughing at me when I came from the doctor? Okay, it's your turn. Let's get in there. See if I can find the biggest hand doctor I can. That prostate looked at, homie. But yeah, thank y'all for listening to this bullshit. I didn't expect to fucking get teary-eyed. I really didn't. I don't usually do that. But apparently I hit a trigger. So, happy birthday to my son. I love him. Thank you for being awesome. And God giving you to me. Letting me have you be your father. So, I'm going to get out of here. I am over an hour late for our response time. So I got a lot of work to do today to get done before Wednesday. So, like I said, your son loves you. He definitely sees value in you as a man, father, and a grandfather. I don't know about the grandfather part, man. I am not up to snuff on the grandfather shit. I am not. I'm not even gonna pretend that I am. I'm probably a grandfather in name only, and that is not good for me. I'm not comfortable with that shit at all. So I will be showing up to grandbaby's birthday next month with bells on because I got shit to make up for. And that's me as a father feeling like I'm letting my son down and my grandchild down. I'm a young grandfather. I don't know how to do this shit, okay? If there's no book made for being a young father, there is absolutely no fucking book made for being a young grandparent. And an effective one at that. You have a great legacy, my friend. Your son will pass on the great lessons you taught him to his family and his legacy. I hope so. Good lessons, not the bad ones. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Triv. Ray, what's good with you? Yeah, you'll catch the replay. I don't know why people show up to say they'll catch the replay. Just catch the replay. But yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for coming through today. I have been Artisan MC. Like, share, subscribe. And shout out to my son DX for turning 30 today. Love you, little head. Love my little head. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.